Welcome in, hockey fans, to tonight's game between the Ottawa Senators and the Edmonton Oilers. Tonight's starting lineup, and Connor McDavid scores just 10 seconds into the game.
Oh boy, Birdman, that sure is a tough bounce for an Ottawa team that needed a good start after getting blown out by the Oilers last game.
What's that? 1 second there, Rhyno. The crew wants us to focus in on audio coming from the Senators bench. Let's check it out.
I won back-to-back cups in Pittsburgh and now I'm in this
Anybody got an extra Oilers jersey?
Hey, Strix, how long left in the game?
Man, that McDavid guy's awesome.
I'm Tim Stutzel. Anyone got a phone charger?
Oh, it's press box chatter in 10 minutes or less. Oh, it's press box chatter with Rhyno and the Birdman.
Blue Jackets forward Patrik Laine has been ice cold as of late, with just 2 points in his last 10 games. Both points came in a 5-4 loss to Florida Thursday night, but Laine was benched for the final 7 minutes of the game and finished with a -2 rating.
Head coach John Tortorella embarrassed him in front of the whole team after the game. Torts referred to his Pierre-Luc Dubois disciplinary book and made Laine recite every lyric to Since You've Been Gone by Kelly Clarkson, which to everyone's surprise, he nailed. Suck on that, Torts.
St. Louis Blues goalie Jordan Binnington secured the bag, as youngsters say these days. He signed a 6-year, $36 million contract extension. He thanked the Blues front office by letting in 5 goals the following night.
Garrison Bettman, how may I help you?
Hey, Gary, I need to unsign a player.
Buffalo Sabres head coach and front-runner for the Ralph Krueger Award as the league's worst coach, Ralph Krueger, resorted to number 11 on his list of punishments after the Sabres lost their 11th straight game on Monday night. He made everyone grab a partner and reenact Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion's Grammy performance.
Management from some North Division teams are reportedly interested in keeping the divisions the same next season.
The North Division's top players, consisting of McDavid, Matthews, Scheifele, and Zach Bogosian, are also in favor. They've established an alliance called the Ankle Breakers, Jockstrap Destroyers, and Zach Bogosian. Their mission statement? Dominate until opposing teams are forced to fold, and Zach Bogosian.
To everyone's surprise, the Detroit Red Wings scored 9 goals in 2 nights against Tampa Bay, paying tribute to how much it costs to buy a house in Detroit these days.
Defenseman and James Bond villain lookalike Erik Karlsson didn't like hearing San Jose Sharks GM Doug Wilson say the team is in a quote-unquote reset. Karlsson said, "Obviously I did not sign here to go through a rebuild or go through what I did for 10 years in Ottawa."
Hey, Erik, that's what happens when you sign a huge contract, then play like shit. They invested 14% of their salary cap in you. If you suck, they probably suck too.
Montreal's lack of depth down the middle remains a concern. De facto first-line center Phillip Danault scored his first goal in the Canadiens' 27th game, putting Danault on pace for... carry the 2, subtract 5, multiply. 2 goals this season. Let's revisit some of our preseason playoff predictions and see where we stand on them now. Let's start with the North Division.
I had Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver, and Calgary in the playoffs.
I had Toronto, Winnipeg, Montreal, and Calgary.
Alright, I may have been slightly off, but I got no problem admitting it. I got Toronto, Winnipeg, Edmonton, and Calgary in the playoffs now, with Toronto cleaning up that division.
I mean, it looks good to me. When I said Calgary, I actually meant Edmonton, so I'm not really changing a thing. Let's take a look at the East Division now.
I had the Islanders, Philadelphia, the New York Rangers, and Buffalo.
Well, I had the Islanders, Washington, Pittsburgh, and Philadelphia. If Carter Hart can stick to looking like a 15-year-old instead of playing like one too, Philly can definitely squeeze into that last playoff spot.
Note to self, never put any money on the Buffalo chicken wings ever again. And if Sam hadn't threatened my life when I wanted to put Washington and Pittsburgh at the beginning of the year, they would have been my picks. So technically, yes, my guesses were wrong, but in theory, they were right.
All right, let's jump to the West Division. Ryan, who did you have?
St. Louis, Colorado, Vegas, and Minnesota.
Well, I had Vegas, St. Louis, Colorado, and Arizona.
I think my picks might be perfect, like me.
I'm going to sub in Minnesota for Arizona here. In episode 1, I had also mentioned that one of our writers, Mike Waba, picked San Jose to make the playoffs. You'll be pleased to know he's no longer employed by Pressbox Chatter.
Oh, thank God. Alright, let's look at the Central Division now.
Well, I had Dallas, Columbus, Tampa Bay, and Carolina.
I had Dallas, Tampa, Carolina, and Florida. Once again, I think my picks are pretty good. I'm going to stick with Dallas squeezing into the playoffs if they can somehow stay healthy, which right now seems as likely as Andrew Ladd ever playing another game with the Islanders.
I thought Dallas would be hungry to make the playoffs this year, but it turns out they'd rather get the first overall pick. As for Columbus, I suspect the players will go on strike soon enough. Chicago and Florida will now be joining Tampa and Carolina as my top 4 Central Division picks.
Alright, now that we've heard Sam's terrible playoff picks, let's see which players he thinks will take home some hardware this season.
Alright, for the Norris, I have Victor Hedman. He's literally looked like Thor on Tampa's blue line.
And my pick is Drew Doughty. He literally looks like a hobo on the Kings blue line. A hobo with solid defense, that is.
For the Hart Trophy, I've got Connor McDavid. I'm sorry.
And I got Austin Dirty Dangles Lip Lettuce Matthews. Honorable mentions go to Anze Kopitar, Matt Cook, Danny Heater, and Alex Tanguay.
For the Vezina, I have none other than the only goalie who wears a goddamn player number, Andrei Vasilevsky.
And I got Grubauer, who I just traded away in fantasy for some reason.
Now for the Calder Trophy, it's a no-brainer. On 3. 1.
Kirill
Dollar Bill Kaprizov.
And now, what you've really been waiting for, the Rhyno and Birdman Awards. Oh, can we please kick it off with the Forsyth Applestein Award for the most annoying player?
My pick is Brady Tkachuk.
And I got Brad the Rat Marchand.
Now on to the Tim Thomas Award for Worst Style.
This one's gotta go to David Perron, because who wears white skates and a tinted visor in a professional hockey league these days?
Now on to the Sheldon Sanderson Award for the most injuries in a single season.
This one's gotta go to Teuvo Teravainen, but he started the year with COVID, so he came into the season with his body already out of order, then he got conked, and then he got moved to the IR for an upper body injury. And now, the best award of all, the Garbage Can Hole Pasta Salad Award for the least wins by an NHL franchise.
The front runner for the Garbage Can Hole Pasta Salad Award is none other than the Buffalo Sabres.
The only team that might end up with fewer wins than Buffalo this season is the Seattle Kraken.
Let's take a look at some of the questions that were sent in by fans. Erik Carpenzano wants to know if the Islanders are contenders or pretenders.
Hey, Kicker Carp! I know you're an Islanders fan, so you'll probably like my answer. I think the Islanders are contenders. My only problem with them is their lack of top 6 talent. On top of that, Anders Lee is out for the season, but if they can continue to have some solid depth scoring, and if they can play Buffalo, Boston, and New Jersey in each round, they can definitely make a run.
Jacob Brown wants to know, what are some potential divisional trades we can see?
Hey, Jacob Brown! Great question. Here's what I think. I heard Ottawa players are losing all faith in their team, so they have requested a trade for a priest. Leafs GM Kyle Dubas, while stumbling home on Yonge Street, agreed to give them one in exchange for an immediate sushi date with Mad Rocket Thomas Chabot. But Chabot is currently gone from the team with a case of the cold, which we all know is code for another hangover day after his long night out on Parliament Hill, or whatever the f*** someone does for fun in Ottawa.
If you're trying to figure out what sort of German code that was, think again. We just named a bunch of songs by Jacob Brown's very own band, Group Project. Go check him out.
In all seriousness though, the league has placed a minimum 7-day quarantine regardless of the division you come from. I don't think we're going to see much. But if we do, I'd assume some trades would start soon in order to accommodate for the quarantine period. But at the same time, what do I know? I'm just a stupid guy who writes a hockey show in my bedroom.
Jeffrey Fize wants to know if Jeff Petrie is deserving of the Norris. That's a good question, Jeffrey. It's too early to say whether or not the award is Petrie's, considering Hedman, Doughty, and Karlsson have been having great seasons. But if Petrie finishes the year as Montreal's top goal scorer, which is a sad reality we may face, I wouldn't be surprised if he takes home the hardware.
And finally, from @Not Calgary Flames former head coach Jeff Ward, he wants to know how he can snitch on Daryl Sutter, who doesn't wear his mask properly. Well, sounds just like a regular guy, not someone who desperately wants his job back. So to answer your question, snitches get stitches.
I never snitched on Forsyth Applestein when he sent me details about nuclear launch
Oh, it's press